Welcome into the Dude Wipe studio here at the South Point Hotel Casino. It's another edition of Gone Racing. Jeff Motley sitting here. My good buddy Brendan Gaughan, who sometimes is in Mexico and sometimes wears a shirt like he was sitting on the beach in Mexico. Really like your shirt today,
This
Brendan.
is a fantastic shirt. I could probably unbutton the top button here.
That you probably paid more than you wanted to for.
Yes, but no, of course not. This is a fabulous shirt in the South Point gift shop. I know we're in the fabulous Dude White Studios in the South Point, but there's a beautiful gift shop. And Ruth Hall, who happens to make more money than the casino.
Off of you.
Yes, off
because
of
you
me
typically
alone.
tend to forget your shirt.
Because people don't realize I don't get it for free. So that's.
Well, it looks nice if you're listening.
Ann had to remind me. Remember, we got so many cameras. We got lights and cameras.
We got lights and cameras.
And that camera. That one,
everything.
not that
Which
one.
Right.
That one, not that one. That one.
If you're listening to us on Sirius
It didn't work
XM,
very
then
well.
go and log on to our
Yes.
YouTube channel so you can see this beautiful blue shirt with a palm tree on it that Brendan.
I just wish I was still in Mexico.
I don't think it really matches with the hat you have on today, though.
Scuba diving. It's a palm tree and a scuba diving hat.
I'm just the colors clash a little bit.
It's
but
me.
It's okay, but it's a good
I've been
point.
with a contractor all morning, an interior designer, and you know why I have an interior designer? Because of this.
Well, you are a guy that showed up with your shirt on inside out for one show a few years ago, right?
I did.
That did happen.
That was terrible.
Anyway, all right. Well, that's enough.
And nobody told me.
We told you right before we started.
No, you told me after like the second segment.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to see you turn your shirt the other way around. That required me to have to see you turn your shirt around during. Yeah, exactly. Enough about Brendan's wardrobe, though. We actually are here to talk about racing. And Brendan, we just finished up at New Hampshire.
Yes.
And we're now, this week will be our halfway point in the playoffs. But as we get late in the playoffs, and it almost seems like every year, what racing team seems to rise to the top?
Joe Gibbs and Rick Hendrick always all season. Joe Gibbs always does, and they've run great all season. But when it comes down to crunch time, there is something about Roger Penske, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, his drivers. How about even Josh Berry this week? That they know when it's crunch time. Roger knows how to instill in people when things matter. And that is what this team understands top to bottom. And look, the race itself, Jeff, racy as hell. There are 5 wide on restarts going into turn 1. Hell, Brad Keselowski hit the dang inside wall.
Yeah, hit the inside wall and took out a couple of cars. But, I mean, you talk about Blaney, and you also mentioned Josh Berry. You know, Blaney really kind of kicked their butts, but Josh Berry gave him a heck of a run. And you almost have to also ask yourself, if that had been somebody other than Ryan Blaney, a pseudo teammate, would Josh Berry have even run him harder? Because I thought Josh Berry's car was probably as good as Blaney's at the end of the race.
Here's the thing. Josh Berry, unlike another team in this race who might have had championship playoff issue problems, Penske Motorsports does not have those type of problems. And I think Josh Berry, as much as Josh Berry wanted to win that race for the Woods brothers and for himself, also was smart enough to know, I'm going to drive hard enough, but if I don't get there, I think I'm going to do better off in the long run.
Well, and you talked about, on the other end of the spectrum, before we get into the odds that we were able to make here, it was a very, very poor performance from the two 2311 cars for Reddick and Bubba Wallace, especially. But I think what was more troubling were the comments that I heard from both of them after the race that they're going into Kansas with no confidence. And we all know the third race of this segment is at the Roval. And yes, Reddick's been a good road course racer, but we all pretty much know who's probably going to win that race.
Look, Toyota, the wheels proverbially fell off Toyota this week. I mean, you had the Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Ty Gibbs saga. You had those two guys who you and I have been bragging a ton, Jeff, right now about Bubba Wallace in championship form. And that team did not perform at championship caliber. I mean, period, end of story. And Toyota needs to get their camp regrouped and get going. And you talked about, let me add one more thing to the Penske camp. 118 laps for Ryan Blaney, 147 laps for Joey Logano, and 10 laps for Josh Berry. That was over half the race led by Penske Motorsports.
And 3 of the top 4 finishing positions were among those cars. Well, let's take a quick look at what the odds that Ryan Blaney won for our bettors this week. He was a plus 500 to win the race, a plus 180 for a top 3. He had a plus 9 against Christopher Bell at plus 130, but he was a minus 160 against Kyle Larson. He also won Group A at plus 280. And he brought Ford home, which I think was a very, very good number for Ford to get a plus 240 on that race. And we talked about that.
We poo-pooed it a little bit. Even we kind of said, oh, we were high enough on Ford, but we were saying, man, the Penske cars didn't look good last week. It's playoff time, and I was saying, I can't believe I jumped off the Logano bandwagon because I was, Logano is playoffs, and there they were. But he brought Ryan Blaney to the front with him too. I mean, and talk about what a good turnaround though for Josh Berry. I mean, after 3 straight DFLs. To do the first round of the playoffs, and I even said, you and I we weren't betting Josh Berry. Terrible. Oh my God. Even though this is a place.
Why would anybody have bet Josh Berry? I mean, even Josh Berry wasn't betting on Josh Berry.
So, I mean, that was a fantastic turn. Way to be mentally tough, young man. That to me showed a lot of mental toughness by him and his team.
It was kind of funny. They got through the first stage of the race, and their own Twitter account was actually celebrating the fact that they had made it through the first stage of the race without crashing, catching on fire or anything else.
Flipping upside down, catching on fire.
And I don't know how many people know this, but it's John Wood is the one who actually does the Twitter. So it's not like anybody's going to call him out on it. He's kind of running the deal now. I mean, his dad and uncle really aren't as involved in John. So it's kind of interesting.
I had so much fun with John.
Yeah,
you remember a story of John Wood where him and Coy Gibbs were up a little late one night before a truck race.
I do remember. There was a lot of choice words they had for you during practice the next day.
I don't know what their problem was. I was drinking Diet Pepsi all night, Jeff.
And they had things that looked like Diet Pepsi, but may not have been Diet Pepsi, I believe, if I remember.
I don't know what you're talking about. Let's go to the top 10.
Yes. How about that top 10? Well, we talked about Ryan Blaney. And you mentioned Josh Berry. He gets a second place finish in the race, which pays 10-1. This is 2 weeks in a row. We've seen a big number come in. Zane Smith the week before came in with a big number with a top 3. So 10-1 there. And then William Byron, to be honest with you, a plus 300 to me on William Byron for a top 3 was a good number. We look at the rest of the top 10, not necessarily shocking names, but I think what shocks me when I look at the top 10, and you mentioned it a minute ago, we only have 2 Toyotas. Christopher Bell in 6th and Chase Briscoe in 10th. It's kind of like you said, what happened to the Toyotas?
Toyotas had the wheels fall off, and Kyle Larson thankfully came back to have a good day, good stage points. I think they needed that almost as much as anybody else.
They still need a win.
They still need to start running what they are. But you got a Hendrick car, 3 Hendricks in the top 10 there. You did get at least Chase Briscoe and Christopher Bell, and then Denny Hamlin, of course, had his Hasselhoff and ended up once he lost his head a little bit. That kind of slow, as we've said in the past, that slowed Denny down. 12th place finish, but he was
real quick. What do you make of that? I mean,
look, we don't normally talk about opinions, Jeff. My opinion is Ty Gibbs needs to be a better teammate. I'm sorry. He was absolutely running the poop out of Chris and Denny. And you got 2 guys that are both running for the championship. The last round is Talladega. All the pressure that's on these deals. Your name is on the dang building. That you're not in the playoffs. One day you're going to be their boss. You need to learn to be a team player. In my opinion, I also say everybody should race their own deal. But and how often am I on Denny's side on a lot of these things? Not often. This time, I'm on Denny's side.
Well, we saw how Josh Berry raced Ryan Blaney at the end. He raced him with a lot of respect. Teammate, going for the championship. Get it. So, all right. Well, let's take a look at how our guys finished in the group stages this week. Ryan Blaney,
man, pretty awesome.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney winning the race obviously gets him Group A with a plus 280. William Byron placed 3rd in the race. It was enough to win Group B. It was a plus 250 in that one. 9th place wins Group C with Ross Chastain. He was a plus 220. He was the second favorite in that group. Josh Berry, he actually was in Group D, which we thought that was a little high for Josh Berry.
We did.
A plus 255. That second place got him there. Group E, which I will point out that between us and the pick group,
him last week.
We congratulated him last week because no one picked him in that group, but we picked all the other drivers there, Priest, Busch, and Nemechek. So Austin Dillon with his 13th place finish and a plus 310. That was certainly the biggest payout we got from anybody in a group. And then Michael McDowell with that top 10 run was able to win Group F, and he came in at plus 210. But Brendan, that brings us to where our current standings are with 2 races left in this segment. And the 4 guys on the outside right now, Chastain at 12 points back, Cindric 19 back, Reddick 23, and Bubba 27. I mean, I'm not so sure we're not already in a must-win situation.
Look, I wouldn't say it's must-win, but when you know that you have Talladega on the horizon.
Well, no, we've got Kansas and we have the
Roval. Sorry,
Yeah.
Roval. I said that twice now already.
Yeah.
Roval on the horizon. For a guy like Bubba Wallace, he's got to look at this race and say, I have got to make this up, because who in the top 8 there do you think you can just flat out outclass? Chase?
And probably no one in the top 8 you think you're going to beat at the road course. Now, maybe if you're Tyler Reddick, you might say, maybe I can go to the Roval here.
But you got SVG that you're kind of penciling in as the winner there that get that guaranteed spot, which is going to keep one of these guys out. So right now, I mean, look, Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, these guys are solid, rock solid.
The fact that Chase Briscoe is a guy sitting on the cut line is shocking to me.
Yeah, but it's 12 points. It's not like he had a bad day. It's just 12 points. But it's right now, Tyler and Bubba are in a dire situation, in my opinion. Tyler, like I said, could probably have a good run. Bubba, not notoriously known for his road coursing, so Bubba is behind the 8 ball right now.
Well, and speaking of that schedule coming up, obviously this week is our return trip to Kansas Speedway. We were there earlier this year in May, and then we go to the Roval to end the second segment. We kind of know what we're getting there. And then we move into that third segment, one of our favorite weekends, the South Point 400 here at Las Vegas. Will kick off the third round of the playoffs. And then you mentioned Talladega earlier. Talladega is going to be such a wild card. And I said wild card. I didn't use the C word.
Yeah, I know.
You like in there sometimes.
And
then we end up round 3 at the smallest track on the circuit, Martinsville Speedway. So
biggest to this. I always loved that too, by the way, the dichotomy of Talladega to Martinsville.
Yeah, and it's better going, I think, Talladega to Martinsville than Martinsville to Talladega.
So do I, because Martinsville, it's the short track aggression. You can't really be aggressive at Talladega. But Martinsville, you can be aggressive.
Yeah, it changes the whole dynamic.
Yep.
All right, we'll be back on Gone Racing, and we'll start breaking down everything there is to know about Kansas Speedway this weekend.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas, the South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now.
Welcome back into the Dude Wipe Studio here at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. Beautiful Las Vegas. Jeff Motley, Brendan Gaughan.
Looking at the proper cameras.
Looking at the right cameras.
Sirius XM doesn't work,
Yep.
but Gone Racing YouTube does.
Yeah, it does. Even though all the cameras have a light on, which I still argue with.
Which also maybe I need to talk to Ann, because this camera's over here, but if I want to look at the monitors like a teleprompter, that's
Over
this
here.
one right here.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but you and I both, because of where the lights are, have to look right through a pole as we look at our
mine's
screens.
okay.
See? Yours, really? You're clear?
I could look at that camera and I'd be okay.
See, I've got a big pole right in the middle of the screen for me. So, and I have a camera sitting right in front of our
I just need the odd
track
side.
records right now. See,
I need the odd side.
See, that's why I have to look down at my sheet. See,
You gotta take your glasses
See,
off.
you look, well, I have to take, and then there's the other thing. See, that's what happens when you start getting old. You can't figure out if you need them on or off. You know, I was going to try bifocals one time, and I asked the guy, I said, can I play golf with bifocals? He goes, oh, absolutely not. He says, you'll see 3 golf balls. And I'm like, well, screw this then. So, so now I have to look, I look under my glasses, and it sucks to get old.
All right.
So, although you turned 50 this year, you're kind of getting into into this club this year. Yeah.
You sure?
You know, it's on Wikipedia, so you can't really play it off.
Don't believe everything you see on Wikipedia.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Or read or anything you read anymore.
Hey, don't believe anything you read on the internet. Quote Abraham Lincoln.
All right, but what you can believe is that we're going to Kansas Speedway this weekend, and Kansas Speedway, I mean, yeah, it's been around for a while now. You know, I remember when Kansas Speedway was one of the.
I was in the inaugural race at Kansas Speedway.
You ran the first. So you're
Arca,
showing your
West
age
and West.
again there, aren't you? What year was that? 99?
99.
First Cup race was 01, I believe, there, right? 2001. So, and we've been going there almost twice a year for quite some time. And it's our second visit there this year. So, first race this year, Kyle Larson got the win.
Kyle didn't just get the win.
In fact, is that the last time Kyle Larson won a race?
It might be.
Because that was right before the Coke 600 and the Indy 500 double.
It was May.
Pretty sure he hasn't won one since. So, Kyle Larson won there earlier this year. Ross Chastain won this race last year, which was a big boost for him, although he was out of the playoffs, I think, by then, because he didn't make it into the final 8. So, Denny Hamlin, he's the leading winner there, if you will. He's got 4 career wins, but he's at 34 starts, but 16 top 10s, 14 top 5s.
Great record there. But I looked down and told you in the break, Chase Elliott, 19 starts, 12 top 10s. I mean, that's pretty fantastic right there for Chase Elliott. That's a good omen for him. And even Kyle Larson, like you said, with the 12, 9, and 3 in 21 races, there's some strong guys here.
Well, Larson and Logano each have 3 wins here.
Blaney 21 starts, 0 wins, 9 top 10s. He don't care.
Well, and the two guys that we talked about who really are desperate of a win, each have a win here. It's Bubba Wallace.
This is a marquee win for Bubba, too.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick each have wins here. So, they've got to have a little bit of confidence, I think, when they go into this racetrack. All right, well, let's take a look at our odds to win for this weekend. And Kyle Larson, he of the I haven't won a race since May, comes in as the favorite at plus 300. William Byron and Denny Hamlin are plus 600. Ryan Blaney is 800. Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, Tyler Reddick are all 10-1. Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Bubba Wallace, and Alex Bowman all at 20-1. And Chris Buescher comes in at 25-1.
I mean, look, these are to win. Remember, that's not top three, but you're going to give me Chase Briscoe and the theory we've had on Chase Briscoe as of late, or you're going to give me Bubba Wallace, the former winner here. Martin Truex Jr. was 9 races, 8 top 10s in 9 races. And Chase Briscoe has 1 top 5 in his 9 starts here. I like that. And Bubba Wallace with the win that he's had, that's good numbers for a previous winner and a guy who's hot as everything.
Well, two guys I like there. You mentioned there, Chase Briscoe. And look, Chase Briscoe, that top 5 came earlier this year. It came in May. And it was really where I would argue was before he was starting to feel his comfort level with this race team.
That was when we were saying he hadn't got there yet. We were expecting it, but hadn't got there.
And he was gaining on it at that point. But so I think the fact that top 5 came this year and we see how that team has gelled. And look, I know that he's had his struggles this year on the 1.5 mile tracks and longer. Christopher Bell did finish second in this race last year.
Yeah, but the how they did
I'm sorry, not last year, but this spring.
To me, that's kind of an anomaly on it.
But 10-1 is, and I think a plus 800 is a good number on Ryan Blaney because, look, I don't care if Ryan Blaney won at New Hampshire. Some people are going to say, well, he's got nothing to race for. I say that's BS. He does have something to race for because the more bonus points he can build up, the better position he puts himself in. Because, look, even if we get into that third segment and we get 3 different winners from the top 8, there's still a 4th guy that's the wild card guy in there. And those points are going to mean everything for that. So I think Ryan Blaney's got a lot to race for.
Look, I look at the 1.5 mile stats just this year since Chase Briscoe's been there. He went to Vegas. It was 17th. Like you said, he was still feeling that out. He went to Homestead, finished 4th. He went to Texas, ran well, had gotten to a crash with somebody else and then broke suspension in like 15 laps to go. 4th at Kansas, 3rd at Charlotte. This track, this is more like Vegas, but you look at how he got better as that season went on. I love that Chase Briscoe number.
Yeah, I think that's a terrific number. All right, let's look at our longer odds to win here. And we've got Carson Hocevar is 30-1. Josh Berry, Austin Cindric, and Ty Gibbs are all 40-1. And Kyle Busch, Ryan Preece, and Eric Jones at 60-1. AJ Allmendinger, John Hunter Nemechek at 100-1. And our field bet is 30-1.
This track, I know we poo-pooed Josh Berry last week, but Josh Berry, good solid run. He did win Vegas earlier this year, Jeff. That was where Josh Berry got his win. And Vegas and Kansas are, I know it's changed a little bit, but you and I would both say kindred spirits. They were the same design when they were built. And Josh Berry finished 6th in this race earlier this year. 4th in stage, finished 6th, won Vegas right before this one. So if there's a track that you think you might jump back on the Josh Berry bandwagon, especially after what he did last weekend, this could be a week that you might find a good dark horse with a Josh Berry and hit a 40-1 shot. Well, problem is he's not in the playoffs, and if one of his teammates is close, he's going to. I believe he's a great teammate. He will bend to his teammate a little bit.
Well, I think he proved that last weekend in New Hampshire. So. Maybe I agree with you there.
Maybe top 3.
And I think, again, I think when we get into top 3s, I think Josh Berry, maybe he rises up a little bit. And also, let's not forget, I believe he was winning at Texas and he crashed.
Yes, he was.
So that's another 1.5 mile track. A little bit different than Kansas and Vegas, but still,
1.5 miles.
It's a 1.5 mile track somewhere that he's now carrying a great deal of confidence. All right, let's take a look at our odds for top 3. And I'm going to be honest with you. This one kind of makes me scratch my head. It befuddles me. Kyle Larson is a minus 115 for a top 3. Now,
he won, Jeff. He led of a race that was 250, 67 laps. He led 221.
What is a phrase that you and I like to utter sometimes?
What have you done for me lately?
See, we know each other too well. And what has he done for us lately? And look, we like Kyle.
He's finished top 10 a lot lately. Just not dominant Kyle Larson.
Okay.
But 221 laps.
I know. I just feel like we're not seeing the old Kyle Larson right now.
221 laps.
Okay. All right. The rest of our top three. Denny Hamlin is plus 170. William Byron and Ryan Blaney plus 200. Christopher Bell 250. Tyler Reddick and Chase Briscoe 300. Chase Elliott 350. Ross Chastain and Joey Logano 400. Bubba Wallace, Kyle Busch, Josh Berry, and Chris Buescher 700. Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman 750. Carson Hocevar, Ty Gibbs 11-1. Austin Cindric 12-1, and Ryan Preece 16-1.
Well, first, what teams tend to dominate these mile and a half last bunch of seasons is Joe Gibbs Racing or
and Hendrick Motorsports.
And Hendrick right now, I'm looking at this list, and Alex Bowman, who I get, you are the poo-poo Alex Bowman, but plus 750 with a fifth place run this year, 6th and 7th, led some laps, and how well Hendrick runs at these mile and a halves. I like that. I've got to look at that Josh Berry number at plus 700, Jeff, and take a long, hard look and say, ooh, Josh Berry plus 700. You know how well he was there. How Ryan Blaney was third at Kansas this year. Josh was 6th, and Joey was 9th. So all three Penske cars were top 10. They're on fire right now. It's the playoff time. This is Penske and Hendrick time. I love that Josh Berry plus 700. I even like Joey Logano plus 400.
Well, and that was the other one I was going to mention. I'm with you on Josh Berry plus 700. I also really like Joey at plus 400. I mean, Joey's had some great runs at Kansas Speedway. Like I said, he's got 3 wins. He had a great run last week at New Hampshire, even though it's a different kind of racetrack. Look, we just know that Joey Logano at this time of year, it's just like it's amazing how that team just builds and builds
death
and builds.
Taxes and Raiders win on a Monday night. The old saying, Joey Logano and then playoffs. And look, he's won.
You're really
Texas.
Showing your age about the Raiders winning on Monday nights now. John Madden and Tom Flores aren't going to coach the team anymore.
But he won Texas this year. He was 9th at Kansas this year. Led some laps at Charlotte this year. Joey, and this is the playoffs when it matters. And I love both those two numbers right there. I love the Berry and I love the Joey.
The other guy we haven't even mentioned at all is a guy who won this race last year. And he's in a desperate situation. That's Ross Chastain. And you talk about the Chevys, how well they've run here before, whether it was Larson and Byron and all those guys. I've got to believe that Chastain is a guy who's got to go into this race with a lot of confidence. 6
top 10s, 4 top 5s, 2 wins in the last 10 mile and a halves. Now, mile and a halves, that does include Atlanta, which I'll take that out. He doesn't have a win there. But Kansas win, a Charlotte win, the Coke 600. Fort Worth, Texas was 2nd, 5th at Vegas this year.
So I wouldn't discount Ross Chastain.
No, I would not discount Ross Chastain at all.
All right, let's take a look at our longer shots here for top 5s. Michael McDowell is 22-1. John Hunter Nemechek, Eric Jones, and AJ Allmendinger are 28-1. Shane Van Gisbergen is 40. Daniel Suarez, Zane Smith, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Noah Gragson, Justin Haley, and Austin Dillon are 50-1. Todd Gilliland is 60. Ty Dillon, Riley Herbst, Cole Custer at 100. JJ Yaley 150, and Cody Ware 200.
So the one that just intrigues me, if I gave you AJ Allmendinger's stats, he was 8th at Vegas this year, 7th at Homestead this year, 4th at Charlotte this year. And that's not terrible.
That's probably better than I would have expected. Like if you told me, you read off that line and say and give me a list of 4 drivers, you probably could have said it where I would have never figured out that was AJ.
Yeah. So I think AJ, and in Kansas this year, he blew an engine on lap 6. So you don't get a stat for that this year. I think that Dinger bet right there, again, looking for another dark horse, Jeff. I think that Dinger bet's not a terrible
It's
look.
not, and I don't think we would ever be surprised now to see a Legacy Motor Club car if they were able to hop in there, whether it was Nemechek or
Jones,
Eric
either
Jones, or even a Zane Smith, who we've seen.
Same thing, jumps up and does things we don't expect.
Strong runs. So, okay, we come back on Gone Racing. We will get into our driver head-to-heads, and we'll begin our favorites, the group matchups for this weekend at Kansas Speedway.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching? This total is really crashed without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're landing me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
Welcome back into the Dude Wipe Studio here at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa, beautiful Las Vegas. It's Jeff Motley, Brendan Gaughan. It's our third segment of Gone Racing this weekend, talking all things Kansas Speedway. Is this like the Fire Starter 400?
No, this is the Hollywood.
The Hollywood Casino.
Hollywood
Casino 400. And this is the track that we once had the Bushy McBush face, Bush Beans, Bush Beer.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
400 or something, right?
We have not had, I think we've only had a couple Bushy McBusherton mentions this year. So we have to, I think it's kind of an obligatory now every year to at least throw that in there.
I will say this, that calling it the Casino 400 is a lot easier than
Bushy McBush.
Don't you hate the fact that they use casino on the name of the race now?
I think it's just amusing. If you remember,
we don't need to recant the whole story, but
it just remember any picture you see of the Orleans Casino truck back in the day. It was not the Orleans Casino truck. It was the Orleans Las Vegas.
That was it. Just Orleans, except when you put the Casino Queen on it when you ran in St. Louis, right? Proper name.
And Mr. Helton, I love. There's another individual there that will be unnamed, who I think is one of the 5 biggest douchebags in the history of mankind. Are we allowed to say that?
Well,
we just did.
Okay.
He worked for NASCAR for a little bit, and thankfully he's gone. But he knows who he is.
Oh.
And he tried to have that he lost that battle quickly, and Mr. Helton stepped in.
Wonder how you really feel, but okay.
Oh, I got all sorts of stories about that one. You ever want to have a good time? Grab a City Light Shine, and we'll have a good talk.
I think I opened up a can of worms. Let's put it back in.
Or as Bobby Boucher said, a can of whoop.
Can whoop ass?
Hey,
Is that what you can say? You can say that. We can Sirius XM.
Hopefully. Sorry, it wasn't me. That was Jeff Motley. I stopped.
So, I got it.
Very funny. Dads.
Okay, let's move on to driver head-to-heads. And Brendan, we've got some big numbers in the driver head-to-heads this week. And they're good drivers. I mean, Denny Hamlin and William Byron
getting 140.
are both getting 140 against Kyle Larson. And I'm telling you now.
And you said, what have you done for me lately?
I'm not feeling it yet with Kyle. Although I'm not saying either that I'm all in on William Byron and Denny Hamlin here this week.
No, but that top row has the big numbers. But I'm going to drop down one lane there. And look, I love the Chase Briscoe 115 versus Ryan Blaney. I like the Tyler Reddick 125 versus Ryan Blaney. And not that I like Tyler Reddick as much, but here's the deal. I think Blaney is right now in that position of, I know he wants stage points. I know he wants the bonus points. But I think Blaney, looking at the Roval coming up at the end, is kind of sitting there going, he's been involved in a lot of chaos at that Roval the last couple of years. He is really happy that he is guaranteed right now to the round of 8.
But sometimes that chaos worked in his favor at the Roval too, I might point out.
He's happy sitting there, so he might take a breather. I think Chase Briscoe, who's on that cut line, is going to have a good run. I think Tyler Reddick, who's in kind of a win-or-go-home situation like we talked, is going to have a good run. Plus 125, plus 115. I like both of those numbers.
I just can't get the comments from Reddick and Bubba out of my head after New Hampshire. It's as if we don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, but here's the deal.
And we don't have confidence going into Kansas.
Here's the deal, though. Their team owner has been a lot more involved in the last, let's say, 6 months than I've ever seen him involved. And I'm not talking about Denny Hamlin. If there is a man that can sit down with his athletes and can basically get them to get their mindset right, would you say it might be Michael Jordan?
No, I give Michael Jordan a lot of credit on, and I agree. He is involved, and we've been seeing him at the racetrack, and it may be part of that's dealing with some of the business side of things as well.
Doesn't matter. He's involved, and I think that's a big deal. And I think he's looking at Bubba and Tyler, and I like the way he interacts with them that we see publicly. I think he takes a personal interest in that, and has probably had a talk with them and kind of instilled some Jordanism in him.
And I also do want to preface, you and I have spent a fair amount of time around both Tyler and Bubba. Those are also two guys who are brutally honest.
Oh yeah.
Like some guys, even if everything is falling apart, is going to tell you.
The Kodak car has a good shot this weekend.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Some guys, when it's all falling apart, they will still put on a happy face. And I think Tyler and Bubba are much more realistic.
Wish they could see that one.
How they start. It was a really good look.
Yeah.
You definitely have always put on a positive front.
On. There's days that I'd finish giving an interview to Moody. We'd end up off the air, and he'd go, "So," I go, "It's going to be freaking terrible, Moody."
Yeah.
I mean,
you kind of sound like that story last week where Rex Ryan said he always fed BS to the analysts that worked his game.
We have to.
Yeah,
it's our job.
All right, well, let's move along to our group matchups. We're going to start off in Group A, where Kyle Larson is a huge favorite at plus 160
I take back wanting to bet him in the head-to-heads
William
now.
Byron and Denny Hamlin are both plus 300, and Ryan Blaney is plus 390.
I take this as a Byron or Denny Hamlin. I jump all over that. Forget the head-to-head bet. Let's go to those two guys, because you look at this, baby. You're giving me Denny Hamlin or William Byron. Willie B on mile and a half has been pretty bad to the bone. He is the number one point getter last 10 races. Average finish 9.9, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s, 10 races. I love that right there.
Well, I like this group as well.
And Denny Hamlin, the same thing. In this track, 6 top 5s in the last 10 races.
But you and I are differing on one thing, and we've kind of talked about it on the show. See, I think Blaney is still hungry, because I do think Blaney wants to build up those bonus points. I also know that the Penske cars are always to be reckoned with at this point of the season. And a plus 390 on a guy who now is envisioning becoming a 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. I mean, Ryan Blaney's got an opportunity to elevate himself into an elite level.
That's Hall of Fame. Now we're talking Hall of Fame.
Now you're talking Hall of Fame numbers. He gets a second championship. I just see plus 390 on Ryan Blaney, and I find that to be something that I'm like, oh, I want that.
I do. And look, he is hot right now, so I'm not against you. I just, Hendrick and Gibbs, normally the mile and a halves, are two of my favorites, and you give me 300 on a Hendrick car, 300 on a Gibbs car, even though Kyle Larson 160, as you said. What have you done for me lately? I like the middles, and 300 is a good number.
Let's take a look at our Group B, and we've got co-favorites here. Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe are both plus 240. Tyler Reddick is plus 260. Ross Chastain, last year's winner of this race, a big number there at plus 350.
You said it earlier, Ross Chastain at 350. You're looking for entice. I'm always talking about where are the odds makers enticing me.
This is better than plus 400 for a top 3.
He's been bet down to a 350. He was not normally the dog, and the only one that scares me here is Chase Briscoe. Christopher Bell, abysmal this year on the mile and a half. I mean,
except for Kansas this year.
Except for Kansas
where
this year,
he did finish second,
but still on the mile and a half, Christopher Bell. It has not been a good year for him on these tracks. I'll go back to this year. Vegas 12th, Homestead 29th, Texas top 10, Kansas 2nd. Well, Charlotte 8th. Maybe it hasn't been abysmal. Never mind. I walk back my statement on that.
I think the problem for Bell is he got off to such a good start, and they were on the shorter tracks. He got into the bigger tracks, and it wasn't as solid.
But Ross Chastain won here in a tough situation. I do like 350 is good enticement here for me to go to Ross Chastain.
Well, I look at this group here and I say, okay, I don't know that Chastain is running as well this year.
But I just love Chase Briscoe.
I also, I can't get Tyler Reddick's voice out of my head.
All right.
And I'm with you on Bell and his struggles really on mile and a half, even though he ran well here before. Chase Briscoe to me, plus 240. It's like, I think he just is the guy that should be the favorite in this group. And if I can see a guy who should be the favorite and his numbers are plus 240, I don't see plus 210. I don't see that plus 160 I see on Kyle Larson. I see plus 240 on Chase Briscoe. Love me some Chase Briscoe there in Group B.
I'm with it.
All right, let's take a look at Group C here. And our co-favorites here, and the betting has certainly affected this. Joey Logano and Alex Bowman are plus 265. Brad Keselowski and Bubba Wallace at plus 270.
This is going to be my lock right now. I think the playoffs are here. The guy that had a top 10 here, his teammates had top 10s here. He's our reigning champion. Bubba not running well right now.
Three-time winner here.
I love Joey Logano right now at 265. That's a good return for the guy that's a favorite. I do like that an awful, awful, awful lot.
Well, I'm going to apologize ahead of time to our listeners and to our viewers who may have tuned in to hear some good debate on the groups between us. There's no debate on this group here for me either. I am all in on Joey Logano.
And could Bubba have a great run? Yes. Could Brad K? I mean, these are guys that can be dangerous. Let's not get it wrong. Brad K, two top 10s in the last 10 races here. And Brad K overall, going down to 20th. 2 top 10s in the last 10 mile and a half.
Well, and one of the things with Keselowski, when you look at Keselowski's really good numbers that he's put up at Kansas and even a lot of his mile and a half.
That's a long time ago.
Who was he driving for?
He was driving for Roger Penske.
And who's Joey Logano driving for?
Roger Penske.
So who are we taking in this group?
I like Roger Penske.
And we like Roger Penske. We like Joey Logano. I'm with you all the way on that one. All right, let's move along to Group D, where Carson.
Well,
we could change his name.
Johnny Carson.
Carson Hocevar is an overwhelming favorite at plus 220. Josh Berry and Austin Cindric are both plus 280, and Ty Gibbs plus 300.
Jeff, look, Ty Gibbs notwithstanding, I think Josh Berry is back, baby. I look at that Josh Berry number and I look at that with how he did here in the fall, what he just did last week. He's probably feeling some royal oats here, and I like that Josh Berry bet right there.
Me too. I do too. First off, look, Carson Hocevar could win.
He's dangerous.
He's dangerous.
Carson Hocevar.
He's dangerous in many ways.
Some weeks he's like, oh my God, Carson Hocevar is going to win this thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So Hocevar could scare you every week. Cindric driving a Penske car as well.
But
and Cindric is still in the playoffs. So again, Barry's not going to run Cindric as hard.
That's amazing
if
to
it's
me.
Close. And Ty Gibbs, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm kind of curious where Ty Gibbs' mindset is after last week. I think that weighs on somebody. Maybe he's too young that it doesn't weigh on him. I don't know, but do you think that's going to affect him?
No, I just don't. I don't feel that that's something that's going to bother him. But I can't stop looking at this and saying Josh Berry is, yes, he had a bad week, but Josh Berry is great. Austin Cindric, not a lot of stats. Ty Gibbs, I think Ty Gibbs, if he's smart, it affects him, but I don't know if it will.
Well, I'm with you on Josh Berry in this group. I think we saw what he did last week. We've seen what he's done on Mile and a Half. She talked about his win in Vegas, how well he ran at Texas. I'm with you. I like Josh Berry. All right, we got 2 groups to go. When we come back, we'll give you those, and we'll give you our picks.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is smoke and fire. This is high stakes and wild cards. This is family and tradition. This is everything on the line. This is it. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas. The South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now. LVMS.com.
Welcome back to the final segment of Gone Racing this week. It's Jeff Motley, Brendan Gaughan here at the Dude Wipe Studio at the South Point Hotel Casino in beautiful Las Vegas. It is a beautiful day today in Las
This is
Vegas.
a nice day. It was sprinkling even today. It was
I'd say
sprinkling at my
about
house.
330 out of 365 days is a beautiful day in Las Vegas.
We got a few days that are hot. But
Everybody should come here,
other than that,
and come to the South Point. They don't charge for parking.
I was just going to say, you got all these great smoking deals. You just come to the South Point.
I think you actually still get free drinks if you're gambling.
You still get,
right?
It's amazing. The South Point still runs what is called a casino.
Yeah, you might even be able to find a $5 blackjack table. At least $10 on the weekend, maybe.
No, you'll find a $5.
$5 still on the weekend.
Yes.
So a lot of reason to come to the South Point. Great place to come watch the ball games, watch the race on Sunday.
You're going to get me riled up on many subjects today. You're going to go into what casinos are now. It's terrible.
Okay,
terrible.
Yep. Well, that's another. We've opened up more cans of worms than a fisherman.
Let's get to Group B and get me out of here before I get in trouble.
Okay, let's move along to Group B, where we've got triple favorites, and I don't like any of them. Kyle Busch, Ryan Preece, and Eric Jones are all plus 250, and John Hunter Nemechek is plus 335.
Yeah, but here's the deal. None of these guys are really exciting, right? None of these guys make you and I jump up and go, oh, hey, what about? So who do we say could run well? Just about like every week, Legacy is kind of having a good week.
Legacy's run well. Preece has run well. They tapered off a little bit the last couple of weeks.
But you're giving me 335 on John Hunter.
Right.
Who
everybody else is 250.
Everybody else is 250. So I'm just taking this as, you know what? John Hunter finished 10th here in the spring.
And he's running better now.
And he's running better now than he was then. So, okay, I'll take the dog in this because it's I think that everybody's looking at the others just Kyle Busch. It's Kyle Busch in Group E, and I'm not taking him. I can't believe that. I'll take John Hunter at 335 just because the return, the juice is worth the squeeze.
I saw somebody with a sign the other day that said free Kyle Busch. I mean, it's like what has happened there?
It's a tough one.
I'm all in with you there. I'm all in on John Hunter 335. All right, and let's move along to our final group, where once again we have 3 guys who are all the favorites. That's Noah Gragson, Daniel Suarez, and Zane Smith are all plus 265, and Austin Dillon comes in as a long shot at plus 275. And by the way, Austin Dillon won his group last week.
Yes, he did.
With a 13th place finish at New Hampshire.
Look, your guy that you were high on earlier this season was Zane Smith. Zane Smith got 2 top 10s this year on mile and a halfs. You know what? If I'm going to pick a guy, it's Zane Smith, but I can't say I really like any in this group. It's just, this is my X group this week. No, not a lot of fun here for me in the Group F for a change.
Well, this is probably one of the most boring shows we've had because Brendan and I keep agreeing.
We have those every once in a while.
We do.
Every once in a while.
And this is definitely one of those because I'm with you. This is my X group.
And after last week, how we all did, we could probably use a week that we agree with.
Yeah, we don't want to.
We'll get there in a minute. Very briefly.
All right.
Very briefly.
Yeah, let's move along to our manufacturer picks for this week, where Chevy comes in as a commanding favorite at plus 120, Toyota's plus 170, and Ford, don't the Penske cars drive for Ford at plus 275?
Goodness gracious.
Wow, that's a pretty big number. And didn't Ford win last week at a plus 240, 250?
I mean, here's the problem. I'm kind of slowing down on Blaney because of the win.
How about Logano?
But I like Logano. I like Josh Berry. I'm saying Josh Berry will run respectfully if it's his teammate. But if it's not his teammate...
That's why I'm leaning against... well, yeah, it's true. And if it's his teammate, they're driving a Ford.
If they're driving a Ford.
So it doesn't matter.
If he's running second behind Chase Briscoe or Kyle Larson, he's going to drive the poop out of that thing to get himself in front of them to save his guy a spot. So that 275 is intriguing to me. The 170 also I like, but the 275 is very intriguing.
No, I totally agree with you there. I don't know if I'm ready to go manufacturer pick this week, but boy, it is very tempting. I don't disagree with you. All right, real quick, our championship odds. Not a lot of movement this past week on the championship odds. I
don't care right now. Bubba Wallace, actually, Bubba went down again.
The big change is Blaney just became the favorite.
Blaney's up
to plus 350 over Larson now.
Because he's the only one guaranteed in so far. Bubba Wallace went down to 80. I still am high on Bubba. If you're looking for a pick there. Oh, and wait, do we have 60? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 12. We have 12 drivers. Congratulations to the staff behind the curtain and to Chris in the pit. There's no field. We actually have a full.
Well, after you chastised our good buddy Vinny as we were walking through the casino after the show
and he backed Chris under the bus. So I mean, I
was going to say it was one of those deals where everybody was pointing in opposite directions.
The Spider-Man meme. Yeah,
and we have to point out though how much we love Vinny. Like Vinny is one of our favorite people
and Jimmy
in the whole world. All those guys.
Chase Elliott 10-1. He's gone up. Chase Elliott, I still like it 10-1. I do think
Briscoe Logano 12-1.
I still think Briscoe.
A couple of guys that
look. There's a ton of great numbers here. Still, get those 3 guys before they go down because they're going to go down, guys.
All right.
Hey, do we have to talk about this part?
We're going to spend about 15 seconds talking about how we did last week, which means we did horrible.
Yes, we did.
In fact, all 3 of us missed all 5 of our picks.
0 for 15, folks. If you're keeping score at home, so to the moosh. You mooshed us for the first time this season.
Exactly. And I have to point out in Group E, we all 3 took a different driver in Group E, and we all 3 lost. Congratulations, Austin Dillon. We told you last week that you had it locked up, and it'll be curious to see where we end up this week. So, pit crew. Oh, our standings real quick, since we all just dropped down 5. Yes. It really didn't change very much, but my goal of trying to beat your score from last year took a big hit.
Took a little hit there, but still within a lot of weeks to go.
Still within reach of 100. We still got 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
6 weeks of picks to go. So, all right. So we will go first off with the pit crew picks since they are last, and you're gonna sense a theme for the letters here. They are the Killer Bees this week.
Okay, Killer Bees.
They are taking Briscoe over Berry. They're taking Bell.
Wait, Briscoe over Berry.
Briscoe over Berry. Do we even have that on here?
Briscoe over Blaney.
Briscoe
over Blaney.
So they wrote Berry on the sheet. So
Blaney.
see,
it's okay.
I'm reading off the sheet. So,
Briscoe over Blaney.
So Briscoe over Blaney, still Bees. Bell over, I'm assuming it's Blaney. But now they got Berry in Group D. Is that? I'm assuming that one's correct. Berry in Group D, and then they're going Bush in Group E. And since there's no manufacturer that starts with a B, there's no Buick, so they are going to go with Toyota.
They used to have Buicks.
Well, they did have Buicks. But they're going to go Toyota, the plus 170.
So the killer Bees in a Toyota.
No Bentleys, no Buicks, so they couldn't go with the Bees in the manufacturer pick.
My freshman football coach used to always say, sell them Buick. Actually, my senior football coach said, sell them Buicks. When you used to throw up, it sounded like you were saying Buick.
Buick Skylark. I remember the Buick Skylark. Or was what was the other? I don't even remember what the other Buicks were.
Can you even name more than a Buick Skylark?
No, I don't think I can. Buick Regal.
Hey, there we go from the
Was Skylark, was that one of the cars was in the My Cousin Vinny movie that was like the Pontiac Tempest and the Buick Skylark? Remember the movie My Cousin Vinny?
Yes, it was. I think it was.
One of my favorite movies of all time, by the way.
Absolutely is. That is one of the greatest of
I
all
wish
time.
Marissa Tomei would never age, but that's a story for another day.
She was awesome.
Yeah.
Let me get you to my picks.
We really have gotten off the rails today, haven't we?
Oh, goodness. This has been me running in the blaze of glory, buying a new T-shirt. And yeah, no, it's been a fun
call
start.
that a T-shirt? It's like a Tommy Bahama.
A new shirt. Sorry, a new shirt.
Like a Tommy Bahama. I mean, you're selling yourself short to call that a T-shirt. It's a lot nicer than a T-shirt.
Please go help Ruth Hall's retirement
program. You
program.
came in a T-shirt.
Yes, I did. It's on the floor right here because I just took it off. Anyway,
will Ann be laundering that for you when it shows?
No, I don't do that to poor Ann. I am going to start with a Killer B group. I am agreeing. See, the bad news is I'm agreeing with the pit crew on a lot, which is never a good sign. I've got Briscoe over Blaney also. I do like that. And then I've got a couple group matchups. I've got Joey Logano in Group C. I've got Josh Berry in Group D. And I am going to stick with that John Hunter Nemechek in Group E pick. And then I know I talked about picking a top 3 bet. The problem is my top 3 bets were also the guys I picked in the group. So I really don't like doubling up on that. So I am going to go. They've enticed me. Come on, Ryan Blaney. Come on, Josh Berry. Come on, Joey Logano. Plus 275 for the Ford in the manufacturer prop.
Well, I really thought going in when you were threatening to pick all those top 3s that you and I would not have so many common picks. But I think this entire picks thing is going to follow the theme of you and I agreeing with each other a lot for this week.
Can't gain on you if we agree is the problem.
And we do have 3 of the same picks, and I picked mine way before you picked those. I just hadn't announced them.
Oh, sure.
But all of mine...
He followed me.
Yeah. But all of mine are in the groups. And all 5 of my picks are in the group. So the 2 that were different are, well, the 2 that you and I will not be competing not competing, but not agreeing
Understood.
on. Group A, I'm taking Ryan Blaney. I love the plus 390.
390, good number.
Chase Briscoe in Group B. I like him there at plus 240.
So
and then you and I are in lockstep in groups C, D, and E. Joey Logano in C, Josh Berry in D, and John Hunter Nemechek in Group E. So not much to for us to banter about when it comes to.
Well, unfortunately, see, here's my problem. I want to catch you still. I'm the guy that believes down 20 points with 2 minutes to go. We can still win.
You could be the Cleveland Guardians against the Detroit Tigers.
Listen, we did at Georgetown. We were down by like 20 with 2 minutes, 22 seconds.